Hey, ever heard of non-Hodgkin lymphoma? A severe and deadly form of blood cancer? No? But I'm sure you've heard of leukemia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, autism, infertility, miscarriages, and much more. And I'm also sure you don't want to have anything to do with those, right? And I totally understand. But then why do you act like you don't care? Why do you still consume pesticides, the substances that cause all these horrible things to humans and nature? Exactly. Today, we're diving deep into the anus of pesticides. So, who am I to talk about this? I'm Iggy. I studied sports and nutritional science. And during that time, I found out that the food industry is deliberately manipulating and making us sick. And now I'm here to enlighten humanity and make your life better. My personal story on that topic: I was ignorant for many years when it came to healthy and high quality food. Same with the issue of animal suffering in the food industry. But then I became vegan. But that's a topic in itself. Happy to talk about it in a separate video. Write it down in the comments if you're interested. Anyway, at 30, I went back to university. Finally, got off my ass after many wasted years, and I started looking for meaning and studied sports science. And you can imagine, as a student, I was broke as fuck. Then I found out that the food industry is deliberately poisoning us with pesticides. But of course, there is a solution: organic food. But if you're a poor student, you can't afford organic food, right? Stick around till the end, and I will tell you how I solved that problem. Let's first get back to the food industry and their damn pesticides. By now, everyone should have at least heard of pesticides, especially glyphosate. It's been covered a lot. So here are the most important facts about glyphosate. Glyphosate was originally patented as an antibiotic. Studies show that glyphosate is now detectable in the majority of population. Even in breast milk, urine, and blood, relevant residues have been found. In 2015, glyphosate was classified as probably carcinogenic to humans, especially due to oxidative stress and DNA damage. In animal studies, liver tumors, kidney tumors, and blood cancer, lymphomas, were found. It inhibits a crucial enzyme pathway, extremely important in the microbiota of humans and animals. By damaging the gut flora that way, our immune system is weakened. And that's the root of many chronic diseases. Glyphosate doesn't act directly on human cells, but on an enzyme called EPSP, synthase in the shikimate pathway used by many bacteria, especially our beneficial gut bacteria. Result: good bacteria like lactobacillus or bifido die. Harmful pathogens like Clostridium difficile survive, which leads to inflammation, leaky gut, autoimmunity. Glyphosate not only helps dangerous pathogens survive, it also increases the antibiotic resistance. It directly contributes to the global antibiotic crisis. It binds minerals like zinc, manganese, magnesium, and iron, essential for plant growth and human metabolism. This can cause nutrient deficiencies, even in people who eat healthy. Glyphosate disrupts hormone receptors, e.g., estrogen receptors, and can affect fertility, thyroid, and even brain development. Even ultra-low concentrations can have effects below legal limits. Animal studies show that long-term exposure to glyphosate leads to liver fibrosis, fat accumulation, and kidney damage. even at doses below the acceptable daily intake. People living in glyphosate-heavy regions like Sri Lanka, India, show increased kidney failure without known cause. Oh, yeah, we know exactly what the cause is. Glyphosate, and especially formulations like Roundup, cause chromosome breaks, mutations, and DNA damage, key mechanisms of cancer development. These effects have been observed in humans, animals, and plant cells. Glyphosate can cross the placental barrier, disrupt embryonic cell growth, and cause malformations. Especially critical exposure during pregnancy, even in tiny amounts. Roundup contains additives that can increase toxicity by up to 1,000-fold. But in safety studies, only pure glyphosate was often tested, a massive regulatory failure. And glyphosate is just one pesticide. There are thousands of different pesticides out there, each with its own, often barely tested risks. Toxicological studies usually only test the active ingredient, not the dangerous cocktail effects that occur in the real world. For many pesticides, safety tests are only done on the active substance, while the actual formulation sold are 10 to 100 times more toxic due to added solvents, surfactants, etc. Atrazine is one of the most used herbicides in the USA and is associated with massive environmental and health damage, including chemical castration in amphibians, hormone damages in humans, drinking water contamination. The EU banned atrazine in 2004, but it's still legal in the USA. Crazy. Chlorpyrifos is an insecticide that can harm the brain of unborn babies during pregnancy, e.g., lower IQs, autism spectrum disorders. Despite its extreme toxicity, it was used in agriculture and even households for decades. Neonicotinoids are systemic pesticides that poison plants from the inside. They are a major factor in global bee die-offs and harm other pollinators, birds, and aquatic ecosystems. Pesticide studies rarely last more than 90 days, but real chronic effects, like all the mentioned ones, often take years or decades to appear. Many safe approvals are thus based on drastically shortened tests. Due to heavy herbicide use, e.g. glyphosate resistance, weeds and bacteria have evolved resistance. The industry's solution, even more toxic agents like dicamba and 2,4-D. Studies suggest that pesticides play a central role in the decline in sperm quality and quantity, a trend that could drastically impact humanity in coming decades, up to 50% decline since 1970s. Farmers and people living near intensively farmed fields have a significantly higher rate of certain cancers. Pesticides don't just kill pests, they also kill microbes, earthworms, and other soil organisms. The result? Soil becomes impoverished and loses fertility. The UN warns that global soils could become infertile in less than 60 years if we continue like this. There are many more facts and effects I could list here. And yes, I have to describe all this in detail because it's one of the most important health topics we must face nowadays. Here, a quick summary. Pesticides are systemic disease creators. They are carcinogenic, neurotoxic, hormone disrupting, immune destroying, fertility damaging, microbiome damaging. And many effects occur at extremely low concentrations, considered safe by law. And even though we know all of this, pesticides and herbicides are still in use and not banned. Another sign that politics is bullshitting us. Because if they really cared about human well-being, they'd ban these things. This also shows the power of the industry and their connections to politics. The biggest players include Monsanto and Bayer. Monsanto developed glyphosate in the 1970s, brand name Roundup, and was key in its global spread. Bayer bought Monsanto in 2018, fully aware of the lawsuits. Syngenta, Swiss agrochemical giant, now owned by Chinese state-owned ChemChina, one of the largest pesticide producers, accused multiple times of human rights violations and environmental destruction. Corteva Agri-Science, spin-off from Dow DuPont, a massive seed and pesticide manufacturer. Corteva and others control the global market via patented genetically modified seeds, trapping farmers' independency. So what are the strategies of those companies? How can they be so successful? Spending millions annually on lobbying in Brussels, Washington, and elsewhere to shape laws in their favor. Example, in 2017, glyphosate's EU approval was extended despite massive protests after intense lobbying. The Monsanto papers revealed Monsanto had close ties to US agencies like the EPA to downplay or delay critical glyphosate assessments. Companies fund independent scientists to downplay risks and hire PR agencies to discredit critics. A deliberate strategy is to sow doubt about scientific studies. Doubt is our product, a slogan used like it was in the tobacco industry. Ghostwriting scandal. Monsanto was exposed in court, notably in the Monsanto papers, for ghostwriting studies that claimed glyphosate was safe, while presenting them as independent research. And again, I must ask, are these really human beings doing such terrible things, all for a little bit of money and power? I mean, those are people at all levels of those corporations and all pulling in the same direction, or maybe not people at all. Anyway, back to my story as promised at the beginning. So what did I do as a poor student who had just discovered that we are being poisoned with pesticides? Right. I looked for solutions and I found them. High quality organic food. Soon I had to realize that this kind of food is super expensive. But I also learned that there are many organic foods that are cheap and affordable. So I focused on those: beans, lentils, rice, pasta, oats, frozen berries and vegetables, tofu, eggs, peanut butter. Usually, fresh fruits and veggies can be expensive. But even here, there are always good deals. For example, I could always score potatoes, even sweet potatoes sometimes, carrots, cabbage, onions, garlic, apples, bananas, tomatoes for cheap. That's already a huge variety. And if you're broke, go to discount grocery stores and supermarkets. Organic is often cheaper there. Buy local and seasonal. Go to farmers markets. Just go out. Look around your area. Organic isn't always expensive. And if a broke student like me could eat 100% organic during his studies, so can you. This video may sound negative, and I understand that the presented facts may be a downer, but this is the kind of knowledge we cannot ignore. Only when we know these things, we can do something about them. I want to raise awareness and show you how urgent and important it is to consume clean, high quality food. It's an investment in yourself and this world. You simply cannot be stingy here. And there are always ways, even if you're a broke student. As you can see in my story, want to know how to choose the best high quality foods and how to wash your food to remove pesticides in case you still buy conventional. I made a whole video about that. Check it out. If you can't buy 100% organic, then look at the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists. No guarantee, but it can help. So no more excuses. And now, for more.